This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the afternoon show presented by ESEN. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez and Jay McLovin. How's it going, guys?
Going pretty good.
Oh, it's doing well, man. It is doing well. Hopefully everybody out there had a great Father's Day.
Yep.
That's what's up.
Pretty good. Well, guys, we got quite a bit to talk about. We'll jump right into it with the big game tonight. Series tied 2-2. Pacers going back to the Oklahoma Thunder. Big game for both teams. Game 4, touch on that a little bit. Oklahoma kind of turned the tables on Indiana a little bit and outplayed them in the fourth quarter. That was a difference in the game. None of the calls went our way, but I'm not going to bitch about that too much. That happens sometimes. But we just got outplayed in the fourth quarter. We didn't play well, and we controlled the game pretty good for the first 3 quarters. Not that we had a massive lead, but we had control. I mean, I think we went into the fourth quarter up 7, and didn't hold on. Thunder got the job with defense and made some big plays. But we'll see what happens tonight. It's a big game. I think if the Pacers want to win this series now, I think they got to kind of win Game 5. Well, don't get me wrong. If we can win Game 6, we still would have a chance Game 7. But do you want to go back to Oklahoma for a Game 7? But we'll see what happens. It's been a great series so far. Anybody complains about this series not being good basketball, they're crazy. It's been really good. Both teams are good teams, and excited for the game tonight. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, Friday we played good the first 3 quarters. Fourth quarter we couldn't hit a shot, and then the referees were terrible. I'm not gonna say that's what cost us the game, and I'm not even saying like there was a couple fouls on them late in the fourth quarter on turnovers that hurt us. But what really hurt us was if you look at that game in the first 3 games, there was a total of 51 to 53 fouls called combined on both teams in the first 3 games. On Friday night, there were 73 fouls called in that game. So over 20-something more fouls was called in that game than there was the first 3 games. And I think that hurt us. Not even saying it because I'm not saying like there was more on us than them. Where I think that hurt us, especially in the fourth quarter, it slowed the pace of the game down in the fourth quarter because of all the damn whistles. So I do think that hurt us because it slowed. And both these teams kind of go with like one pace and get a flow of the game going. And the way the referees were Friday night, especially in that fourth quarter, it was hard to keep a flow going because it was always boom, boom, foul, foul, foul. It's just odd to me that the first 3 games, all the fouls were all about the same. And then you get in Game 4, and it seemed like in that fourth quarter, it was awful whistle happy. And then, like I said, there was like 23 or 24 more fouls called in that one game than the other 3 games. But I think Pacers will bounce back tonight. We need to bounce back tonight, get a win. We haven't lost 2 games in a row since like beginning of March. Just like the Thunder haven't lost 2 games in a row. So yeah. I think if we can bounce back tonight, win another one in OKC. We've won one there before, so we know we can win one. If we can win tonight, we'll have a chance to close it out at home on Thursday. So
yep.
Hey, it's an even series 2-2. All I was told going into this that the Thunder was going to win this series in 4 or 5 games. Pacers would be lucky to win a game. This wasn't going to be a competitive series. That we're not even on their level, and I think we've showed that we're on their level. We're even with them through 4 games. So,
see if we can get the job done.
Now we need to finish the job. So I'm looking forward to tonight. I think the Pacers will come out and play a big game. But yeah, I felt like the officiating was terrible on Friday. Like I just don't see how you get that big of a jump from from the first 3 games to Game 4. Like it just And the referees at the door, I don't even know how that guy is still allowed to do fucking finals games. That Foster, and you know this, Jay, that dude is terrible. He's terrible. And when the Pacers have that crew that we had for Friday night, we don't win many games when we have that referee crew. If you look back through the season when you have Foster and I forget the other guy's name, the Pacers don't fare well with fare too well with that crew.
Hey, Jay, before you give your take real quick, I did see some news, at least if it's correct, that the Oklahoma Thunder is going to make a change to their lineup again. They're not going to start Dort. They're going to start the I can't remember the guy's name. He's been playing really well.
Oh, you know about Caruso?
Yeah, I heard they're going to start Caruso over Dort in the game. So, that's another big change for them. So, be interesting. Jay, your take.
Yeah. When I look at this game, there's a lot of things to kind of unpack, even some of the things that Chris was talking about. I look at this game as the flip from game 3 to this one. If you look at game 3, when the Pacers won, you look at the fourth quarter, it was basically, I think it was like 37 to like 19 or something like that, right? I mean, I might be off by a point or two, but it was very lopsided in that fourth quarter, right? I know for a fact that the Thunder didn't break 20 points in game 3 in that fourth quarter. And then when I look at tonight's game, was it Friday night's game, whatever, game 4, it was a flipped. It was where you guys couldn't get 20 and the Thunder got 31. So, it's almost the same type of game. Pacers got off to a killer start. Their offense was going. They weren't being down. They were slinging shots right and left between the two teams. They were, everything's very, very tight, very, very close. And then, of course, in the third quarter, that's when the Pacers took on coming back, and they won the third quarter. And then, of course, the fourth quarter, the Thunder didn't get 20 points. You guys got 30. Of course, you get the game 4 game 3 win. Yeah, game 3 win. And then tonight, it was, you guys still won the third quarter, but then when the fourth quarter, now, I mean, we can blame refs all we want, but at the end of the day, you didn't get it done, and the Pacers have kind of, in a lot of those comeback wins, in the last minute when they were down by 9, down by 6, things like that, it was all off of fouls, and you guys were able to do your free throws. You converted your free throws, and ultimately, those are the things that gave you the wins. Not that Halliburton and things like that didn't have those, dramatic shots at the end as well. But I felt like game 4 was almost the same as game 3. It's just the fourth quarter wasn't the same. For either one of those two teams. So I think you guys know, Tony, I'm pretty sure you remember me saying that I thought that this was going to go 7 games. I said it's going to be Thunder, and I said it's going to be 7 games, and I'm still sticking to that. These two teams are too close in style of play and coaching and all in the bench and how well your benches come through and things like that. I felt like this is too close of a team matchup. And Gonzo, to your point, if you're watching this series, you're seeing probably one of the best series I've seen in a while, where it's not a dominant team coming in and you're like, yeah, okay, Warriors are going to win it, or, LeBron led whatever, Miami or, whatever is going to win it, or Jordan, back in those days, you just knew who was going to win. You don't know who's going to win this. It just really comes down to who wants it the most, because your style of play, your quality of players, your quality of benches, your quality of coaching, and the way the crowd gets behind each one of your teams, it's just too close for it not to be 7 games. And that's why I said I felt like it was going to be 7 games. Like I said, when you look at last night, I felt like in games 3, even actually games 1 through 3, I felt like Holmgren wasn't being involved in this team enough. I felt like he wasn't doing his part. He wasn't contributing enough on the offensive side of it. Even on the defensive side, I felt like in some places he was getting kind of pushed back, wasn't able to do what he does. And when you look at last night, he actually showed up. And when he showed up, he played well. Caruso, I felt like Caruso does his best on the biggest of stages. And when you were down 2-1, in Indiana, Caruso stepped up and he had a huge game, which obviously Dort didn't. I think Dort gave you 4 points, and I think that might have been the spark that put Caruso in the lineup and them taking Dort out. I think they were wanting a little bit more of that defensive presence to keep the Pacers from hopefully not getting that quick lead or early lead, things of that nature. So when I look at that, there's a lot of reasons why. I look at, I apologize. I want to go back to Holmgren for a second. He was 4 of 9, 15 rebounds, assist, and 14 points. So he was very much there defensively. He didn't do too bad on the offensive glass. But then when you go look at Dort, not that Dort had a bad game. He didn't. He just didn't have enough shots. I think he only took like 2 shots, and he converted both of his shots. So I don't know. Maybe they felt like Dort was, or maybe they just wanted more. I think the reason why Caruso is in that lineup now, I think they're looking for more defensive upside on that starting 5. That's the only reason I can think of why they're putting him in there and taking Dort out.
Jay, I don't agree with
you. Know what I'm saying?
Jay, I don't agree with you. I think the reason they're playing him is because offense. You
can say that, but he's got a hell of a good shot. He went 2 for 2. They just want to get enough shots.
Dort's more known for OKC for his defense than he is scoring.
I get it, but I just felt like he just didn't get a lot of shots. And maybe to your point, maybe he's not one of the quicker options. So I can understand your viewpoint on that.
Caruso's been hot. I think they're just playing the hot hand, and he's pretty decent defensive too. They don't lose that much. I think Dort is their defensive specialist, they claim, but he's having trouble offensively, and I think they know they need the offense. So that's what I think. And Dort will still play a lot, I'm sure. I would imagine.
One of the biggest things I took away from that game for OKC, which I hope that for their sake they don't have a repeat. And it didn't hurt them. Thankfully, it didn't hurt them in game 4. But I don't think you can have this type of performance and think that you're going to walk away with game 5. And what I mean by when you look at their 3-point shooting, OKC was 3 for 16 at 18%. Yep. Now, Pacers went 11 of 36 for 30%. So that was a huge knock on OKC, which I don't think they're going to survive that. The one thing that helped them out was they converted 34 out of 38 for their free throws at 89% to 25 of 33 for 75% for the Pacers. And I think that was one of the big things that helped keep them in that game and give them that lead. But I got to tell you guys, I think if OKC doesn't do better than 3 of 16, even though I know this game is at home, I don't know that they walk away with the win with that type of 3-point shooting, Yeah.
I think Indiana's got to get up a little bit better, higher on their 3-point percent, even though it was 30-some percent. They averaged 40-some percent for the playoffs most games.
Well,
and they had open looks.
Well, I was going to say, if you look at what killed their percentage, because they were shooting they were shooting at a better percentage of that in the first 3 quarters of that game.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, we went cold. We couldn't hit a shot in the fourth quarter, and that brought our 3-point percentage down some as well, because we were shooting a little bit better. And just to go back, I wasn't saying the foul. I wasn't blaming our loss on the fouls. I was just saying that there was a lot more fouls called in this game. We lost this game in the fourth quarter because we couldn't hit a fucking shot, and then a couple turnovers. Which that one turnover, Halliburton did get pushed in the back, got pushed away from the ball, and they didn't call it. Hey, that happens sometimes. But
you know what though? But
the biggest thing in that fourth quarter was we had some open looks that we've been knocking down the whole game, and we weren't able to knock them down. So we just quit. We quit making shots, and they made shots. So, that's what happened in the fourth. But I was just saying there was a lot more fouls called in that game than there was the other games, and I do think that messes for both teams. Like I said earlier, that messes the flow up for both teams. And as a fan, ain't nobody that wants to watch a game and there's almost 80 fouls called in it either. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this. This is what I believe, because I get. Trust me, I'm looking at it. The interesting thing about it is, I will say this about the officiating: that they kept it pretty equal for both of you guys. Like they weren't calling more fouls for one than the other. If you look at it's 26 to 27. Yeah, no, I'm saying. As a matter of fact, you even had a flagrant, and they had a flagrant. Yeah. It was literal.
Neither one of them should have been flagrant. Neither one of them should have been flagrant.
Oh no, trust me. I'm not here to debate that for sure. I just think that you can put on the officiating for calling that many fouls, But also, what you got to say is, though, your team didn't capitalize on those fouls as much as what OKC did. 89 to 75 is what I'm saying. That was a big difference.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Did you hear what I just said?
Why don't you tell me one more time for possible penetration?
I'm not blaming the fouls as the reason we lost that game. I just said we lost the game because we couldn't hit a shot in the fourth quarter.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, as a fan, when you watch a game,
right,
there's 70-something fouls called in it. It chops the flow of the game up, and it's not as fun to watch because just
for sure,
that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that cost us the game.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as a fan, though, if there's 75 fouls called in the game when there's been 50-something in the other ones, it's a different watch. You know what I mean? The game don't flow as well.
So there was 63 fouls. You're right, 63 fouls, and I'm assuming that those flagrants were part of that number.
73 fouls.
Are you sure? Because I'm looking at 27 and 26, and if my math is correct.
What game are you looking at? Are you sure it's game 4? Game 4?
Yeah, game 4. Game 4, you guys had 27 and OKC had 26, which that should be 53, not 60. There's 53 fouls. And then each team had one technical apiece, and then each team had one flagrant foul apiece. So 4 and 53, that's 57 fouls.
Game 4, OKC shot 38 free throws. The Pacers shot 33 free throws. I think you're looking at game 3.
No, I'm looking at game 4.
You
You may be looking at the number of foul shots. I'm saying the factual fouls. See?
Yeah, 34, 38 from free throws.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was 70-something free throws shot in that game.
No, you're talking about
there was only 50 free
throws. I was just saying the fouls.
There was only 50 free throw. 50.
No, you're right.
Shot the rest of the other games.
Yeah.
Joe, yeah, that's true, Joe. They played pretty good defense in the fourth, but we missed a lot of open looks too. We went cold, and I'm not saying they didn't play good defense, but I don't think it was all defense. But hey, Oklahoma's got a great defense.
The one thing I got to tell you guys is I really feel like there is so much pressure. I got to feel like there's more pressure on OKC because of the fact that if they don't win tonight, then they see the home court advantage back to you guys. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you guys walk away with the win tonight, and that's 3-2, you're going to go – that momentum behind you going in back to home is going to feel pretty good for you guys. I really feel like Indiana or OKC has to handle their business tonight in order to keep some of that pressure off going back to y'all's home court, right? I mean, I don't know how y'all see – if y'all see it that way or not, like whoever has the more pressure. I just feel like OKC – they really got to get it done.
OKC definitely has the more pressure because, like I said, everybody expected it. Most people, like I said, but most people expected this series to already be over. OKC was minus 700 favorites, one of the biggest favorites ever. Yep. So all the pressure's on them because if you lose this series, it's gonna go down as maybe one of the biggest upsets. Even though I don't believe it's that big of an upset. Because I thought this was going to be a real close series either way. But if the Pacers were to win, national media-wise, it's going to be one of the biggest upsets ever. So, yeah, you're right. All the pressure's on OKC right now, especially if the Pacers can pull off the win tonight.
Oh yeah,
like you said, because then we got home court, but now if the Pacers can win tonight, you want to close it out at home, but you have 2 chances to close it out. And the same thing with the Thunder. If they can win tonight, and you have 2 chances to close it out with one of them being at home. So whoever wins tonight definitely has the advantage. But I do think that even if the Thunder win tonight, if the Pacers were to win, there would be more pressure on the Thunder than what there is if the Thunder win tonight, than the pressure being on the Pacers just because of the odds and everything.
And if Pacers lose tonight, they are going back home.
Yeah, you still have one game at home to try to get it back.
If Oklahoma loses tonight, they're going back to Indiana down 3-2. So it's a little, I agree with you guys. I think more pressure right now is a little bit on Oklahoma.
I got to give you some credit, though. I got to give you some kudos, man, for the Pacers. They're playing. I mean, not that they haven't been playing good basketball up to now, but I really, my mind in terms of this Pacers team has changed a lot throughout this series. I do see how good your defense can be. I see how good that offense is and things of that nature. There's a lot more about this team. I think the country or the NBA community is seeing that, maybe we weren't giving the Pacers enough respect on that end of the stick. And Gonzo, I guess to your point, you've been saying for a hot minute now that we haven't seen the best Pacers basketball. And I think we are seeing some of the best Pacers basketball. And I think a lot of our minds are given like, okay, this Pacers team, that was 4th seeded, actually looks a lot better than some of the first, 2 or 3 in that conference. So mad kudos to you guys. I got to tell you, I'd like to know what y'all's 3 keys are for what you and Gonzo or you and Tony think are the keys for you for the Pacers to get the win tonight. And then I'll give you what I think are the 3 keys for OKC to get the win tonight. If you're okay with that, we can wrap that topic up with that probably.
Yeah. Chris, you want to go first?
Yeah, for me, the big thing is we got to limit our turnovers, which we've done a pretty good job. We've done a decent job of since that first game. Or we got our defensive intensity has to be like it was for the first three quarters, first 3.5 quarters of that game the other night. Our defense looked tough for about 3.5 quarters of that game. If not that it let up a whole lot in the fourth, but I think when our offense kind of sputtered, that hurts your defense too, because when you hit shots, it helps your defense get back and everything. But I think defense has the defensive intensity, turnovers, and then the other key for me would be we need Halliburton has to stay aggressive like he's been the last 2 games. Like last game he wasn't as aggressive with his shot, but he stayed aggressive at getting in the paint, passing the ball out. So he has to stay aggressive, which he's done a good job of that the last 2 games after getting off to a little bit of a slow start in the series. But I think if Halliburton stays aggressive like he's been, and our defense shows up and don't turn the ball over, I think we'll be there at the end with a chance.
I think we got to get off to a good start of the game and also the start of the second half. We don't want to get knocked out, at the start of the game or at the start of the second half. I think that's a big key. I think, again, defense, putting good defense on them. I think we got to play them tight. And I agree with you about Halliburton. Got to get off to a pretty good start. And I would say the same thing for Siakam. I think we got to get off to a good start.
And one other one. Benedict Mather needs to go get his batteries changed or whatever was malfunctioning in his damn brain on Friday night and get that fixed, because you can't be missing free throws and then fouling guys before the ball ever gets in bounds. Yeah. And that was some of the stupidest shit I've ever seen. And Mathurin usually don't do stuff like that. So he has to get his head back in the game a little bit, because he had a tough minute and a half, couple minute stretch there in that fourth quarter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For me, OKC, a couple of things come to mind. Number one, don't be content being the fact that you're tied the series up and you're at home. Don't be content with that. You need to play with the same mentality that you play with as if you're on the road, and don't be passive about it. Don't come out flat. Come out aggressive on defense. Which is why I'm hoping Caruso's there, that he'll keep providing that defense, but come out hardcore on defense. Keep the pressure on them early and often. Don't give them easy shots. Don't let Indiana get comfortable. Don't let Halliburton specifically get comfortable. Chet Holmgren, buddy, continue to put up those rebounds like you did last night. Do that. Get that good rim protector that you are, and get your shots in. Don't just be quiet and submissive and be okay. Put out a little dogfight in you and get in there and do what you did last night. Bring that to the table like you did. Points in the paint for me. Last game 4, you guys put 50 to 36. Make sure you're capitalizing on those points in the paint. Attack the rim, so that way it'll open up your perimeter shooting. Those are the biggest things. And the last thing I'm going to say is turnovers. Don't commit the turnovers. If you're going to give a turnover, make it a good one. Don't give up easy turnovers. Don't let them steal the basketball. Don't do the lazy passes. Because I can't tell you how many steals I saw Indiana get from lazy passes that you guys were doing. And I'm like, I don't understand this. Crisp, smart passes, don't get lazy, don't good turnovers, apply the defense, and Holmgren step up, continue to be involved, and put the pressure on Halliburton. Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about this big NBA trade that happened. I believe it was yesterday. The Memphis Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane, a guard, to the Orlando Magic for Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, and 4 first-round picks, and also a pick swap.
That's crazy.
Real quick, Bane averaged 19 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game, and that was done on 48% field goal average.
Yeah. That was the dumbest thing Orlando could have ever done. Not that bringing in Bane is dumb. Bane's a good player. Bringing in Bane is fine. But you're treating this guy like as if he's Giannis or Bron or some other big mega superstar, right? KD, Harden or something. I mean, you're treating this guy like that. And last time I checked, he's just a number 2 on a team. And he's only getting 19. I think Orlando basically gave up way more than what they should have to bring this guy in. And I think it's going to hurt them in the long run. They gave up 4 unprotected, not even protected, unprotected picks and pick swaps. Are you kidding me like this? Are you serious? That's a lot of your future that you're giving away for one guy. And let's not act like that Orlando is just one piece away from being in a championship. Last time I checked, they finished the season at 41-41 and lost in the play-in. Come on, guys. You gave up your whole damn livelihood for one guy who's not even a superstar, and you're 41-41 and out of the play-in last year. Is this what we're doing?
I thought they won the play-in. Because
I thought they did. I know they were in the 7th spot. If they did win, did they win the play-in? I thought they lost the play-in.
I thought they played Boston first round.
They did.
Yeah, they played Boston first round.
Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Boston won, didn't they? Or did they lose?
Yeah, Boston beat them, but in the first they made it through the play-in, and their first round matchup was Boston Celtics. Huh. They were the 7th seed.
I didn't realize. I thought they lost. Well, regardless. I mean, okay, great. I'll give you that. I'll give you that one kudo, Orlando. You made it. I guess you made it into the play-in. But at the end of the day, you're only a 41-41 team.
They made it as far as Houston did.
Oh shit!
Hey, whoa, we're not going that direction. No, we're not going. I'm not gonna let you put that false bullshit narrative out there. You just sit there and look pretty, and you'll get your turn. That's some bullshit. You know what? I think that fishing trip went straight to your head. You must have got some of that good peyote. Anyway.
Oh Lord.
But all I'm saying is this, man. You're 41-41. You're more than just one guy away from trying to contend for a title. Okay, you're a long ways away from that. And you gave up 4 unprotected picks. You basically mortgaged your future for one guy who's not a superstar. That is absolutely asinine and is absolutely absurd. Orlando, you screwed the pooch. Memphis, though, on the other hand, real quick, Memphis?
Yep.
You took that one and got a lot out of it. You got 4. What?
Yeah.
Good job, Memphis. On the other hand, good job, Memphis.
I agree with you. Memphis, Orlando needed offense. They desperately need of offense. Bane will help that. And I think Bane's a good pickup, except the problem is they gave up way too much for him. They gave way too much for him. I think he's a piece, but you would need just give up way too much. If you would have given up half of that, maybe. But they gave up way too much, in my opinion. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't have gave up that much, but the problem is that's what the market is now. You got to remember, New York Knicks reset the market last year when they gave up 5 first-round picks for a number 3 player in Mikal Bridges. So now, if I'm Desmond Bane's agent, and I think he's comparable to Mikal Bridges, I'm going to be trying, or not even his agent. If I'm the Memphis, I'm gonna be trying to get this close to the same amount of Bane as they were able to get out of Mikal Bridges. So to me, this is where the market got fucked up because of the Knicks doing something stupid. And now the Grizzlies are just kind of or the Magic are kind of like compounding on it because the Grizzlies took advantage of that. Like, hey, Mikal went for 5. We're at least getting 4. We're at least getting 4 first rounders for Bade. So yeah, I agree with you guys that they definitely overpaid for him. But I think it's because of the market getting reset with what the Knicks did last year with Bridges and them guys, and now we saw the same thing in the NFL kind of with when you see some of these receivers get big money and then the next receiver wants money, or look at Cleveland. They messed around, gave Deshaun Watson that big guaranteed contract, and usually everybody else copies, and the NFL's, no, we're not doing that. Well, until somebody in the NBA steps up and said, hey, we're not giving 4 first-round picks for a guy that's going to be a number 2 or number 3 on our team. These teams are going to keep trying to get as much as they can, and as long as somebody will give it to you, you're going to take it. But yeah, I agree. They gave up way too much for him.
Let me ask you guys this real quick. Do you think that this trade affects people trying to get Giannis and people trying to get Durant? I mean, you're seeing what this guy got. Now, is that going to change the asking price for Durant and Giannis?
I don't think it will, and I'll tell you why. First of all, yes, if I'm Memphis and I saw what Mikal just got because New York has a dumbass Leon Rose as their manager, probably. But I don't think just because Orlando is stupid to do the same thing that New York did, that's really where the stupidity lies. The stupidity doesn't lie with what Memphis is asking. The stupidity lies with Orlando getting sucked into it. And I got to tell you, they're the only team that got sucked in. I don't think it's going to be around the league where this type of thing is going to go on. I just don't think that's going to catch on like that. But I got to tell you, I don't think that when Giannis goes on the market or if Durant goes on the market, that people can just give up more than 4 to 5 picks. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I would imagine Giannis will probably get about 4 picks. I think Durant, because of his age, will probably get a little bit less, maybe 2 picks.
And also, he's a free agent after next year too. So
yeah, so I don't know why you would take that, because he's 37 years old, right? It's not like he's got forever in the league,
Well, I know. Well, let's move over there. Durant. I guess Durant said the teams that he wants to play for is Miami, Houston, and San Antonio. They're the front runners. I've heard there's been a lot of talks. I've heard all the teams have made some offers. I don't know exactly what the offers are, but be interesting to see where he ends up. But I think where he ends up, he plans on signing. He just don't want to be a one and done. He wants to sign for a couple of years.
This guy here says that if acquiring Bane don't send the Orlando Magic or don't propel the Orlando Magic up to a top 4 seed in the East, that trade's a failure. Well, just getting Bane on that Orlando Magic team is not going to make them a top 4 team in the East. I can tell you that right now. Adding Bane to that team is not going to make Orlando better than the Pacers. It's not making Orlando better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just adding Bane, in my opinion, don't make them better than the New York Knicks.
Boston Celtics. I mean, even though they had an injury.
The reason I didn't say Boston because we don't know what that team's roster is going to look a lot different, probably.
We don't know when is Tatum coming back. Is he due back next year, or is he out?
He'll miss. He's going to miss probably at least most of the season next year. Yeah. But even before the Tatum injury, they'd already said that there was going to be some pieces moving.
Yeah, they were going to revamp it. Yeah,
because they're so far into the luxury tax and apron that they have to make some moves. But yeah, adding Bane to me nowhere near puts them up in the top in the top 4 in the East. I would still have the Detroit Pistons.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion, would be probably finish higher than Orlando next year.
Well, I
think adding Bane at best, and this is at best, adding Bane might bump them up from 7 to 6 in the standings, but I don't think it goes anywhere beyond 6. I think you might move up 1 spot. But I don't think you're going to go more than 1 spot up in the standings.
It depends what happens in Milwaukee. If Giannis leaves, that could help them a little bit. But yeah, I agree that Detroit, to me,
Detroit almost beat the Knicks. And the Knicks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit's the top 3 team next year.
I mean, let's be honest. There was a couple of games. I guess going back to what Gonzo was saying earlier about officiating, there's a couple of games in that Detroit-New York series that we know probably should have gone Detroit's way, and they should have got maybe 1 or 2 of those games in that series.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can definitely see Detroit. And given, like you said, given where Giannis goes, given what happens with the Celtics, it's very easily that Detroit could slide up and be in the top 3. I'd almost be surprised if they didn't, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're definitely moving in the right direction. Okay, guys, let's change over to this little bit of hockey. The Florida Panthers took on Edmonton Oilers this past weekend, and the series was tied 2-2. They won that game 5-2. Now they're up 3-2, and they go back home for Game 6. That'll be played tomorrow night. I did read something that looks like maybe Edmonton might be going back to their other goalie, the original goalie they had in. So they may be going back to him for Game 6. I'd said beginning of the series. Well, I'd said that couple series back. Florida is just so damn good on the road, man. They're hard to handle. And don't get me wrong, Edmonton's going to come out and going to take a big punch tomorrow night. But if they don't get off to a good start, I don't like their chances. But if Edmonton can win, they could go back home. That don't guarantee anything, again, when you're playing Florida. But if you can't, if you make it to Game 7 and you end up losing 3 games on the road at home, you don't deserve the championship if you lose three games at home. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's been a great series, man. A lot of overtimes. It's been a great series. Jay, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's the second damn time that the Panthers have really taken it to them. The first time was Monday, June 4th, when the Panthers beat the Oilers 6-1. And then there was a couple of close games in there. And then you had Saturday's game, and they take on 5-2.
Yep.
And with a team like Edmonton, which typically plays some pretty good defense, so they can usually kill some offense on you as well, it just kind of tells you, like you said, Tony, how good this offensive team is of the Panthers, how good Bob Roski is for the Panthers on the goalie side of it. And I got to tell you, man, you know, I wasn't sure what this Panthers team was going to be. I knew what Edmonton had because of watching them against Vegas and watching them against Dallas. And just based off of those 2 series, I thought maybe they would keep the games really super close, but no. Florida has absolutely asserted themselves very thoroughly into this series. And now you got Edmonton on the brink. And I think, is this game in – where's this game at? Is it in Edmonton or is this in Florida? So now you got to go to their territory on their ice, down 3-2. You know what I mean? That's a tall ask when you just got your butt handed to you on Saturday.
Yeah, think about it, Jay. This series could be over. And the reason I say that is that, like you said, Florida has dominated 2 games, but the other 3 games went to overtime and won them 2 overtimes. So Florida only won one of those games. If they win one more of those games overtime, the series is already over. So
and the first game that they lost in overtime, they were up when they were up like 3-0 real quick, and
3-0 at one time.
I mean,
they lost 5-4, I believe. But yeah,
you know, but this tells you how good Bob Roski is. So, and that's not really that. And honestly, you could honestly make the even on the other side of the coin too. It was 21 shots on goal for Edmonton and 19 for the Panthers, but yet they scored 5-2. I mean, that just kind of tells you, you know, how good Bob Roski is, you know, and the saves and things of that nature. I thought he did a good, and obviously the defense of Florida as a whole, really even for that fact.
Yeah, I think that's been the difference. I know the goalies are taking a lot of hit, but Florida helps their goalie out a lot, where Edmonton's team is hurt, not helped their goalie at all, really, to be honest with you. They put their goalie in some bad situations. So
one last thing on that. I will tell you, Chris, unlike the NBA where, you know, fouls are plenty in games, there wasn't really a lot of penalties called in the NHL. There was only 5 total penalties between both teams called. 5. That's crazy. That's not a whole hell of a lot. So it looks to me like the refs are really letting these 2 teams go at each other without the ticky-tack calls.
yeah,
You don't see that a lot. 5 penalties, that's not a whole lot.
Yep, I agree. Chris, you got anything else on this?
the Oilers, are they still using the same goalie they started the series with?
No, they went to
They already took out center.
Yeah, now they're talking about
They took out Skinner on that one. They're going with that other kid. I forget his name though.
I just seen a report the reason I noticed it because Jackie Redmond, she covers the hockey games, and she also works for WWE, so that's why I noticed when I seen her name come up. She said that she thought that Edmonton was going to go back to the original goalie.
Yeah, Pickard was the goalie that got the call on the last game.
Okay, guys, let's move on to some baseball. The Boston Red Sox made a big trade, trading Rafael Devers to the Giants for, let's see here, pitchers Jordan Hicks and Kyle Harrison, outfielder James Tibbs, and also pitcher Jose Bello. So they got 4 there. I believe, if I remember right, Tibbs was the Giants' 4th rated prospect, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And so, Chris, what did you think of this trade? Does it make a big difference for the Giants?
I don't know. It could. I haven't really looked at Devers' numbers or nothing for this season. I haven't watched a lot of Boston. But I mean, Devers is a good player, so I think it could help them. But I don't know. I just thought this was kind of a weird time to do a trade. Usually, if you see trades in the MLB, it's usually way closer to like right at the trade deadline, or you know what I mean, right before All-Star break. You don't get many trades just out of the blue earlier in the season. So I thought that was a little different. But, I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But like I said, I haven't seen a lot of them two teams play. So it's hard for me to give an opinion how much I think it's going to help them.
Jay, what's your take?
Yeah, I think the writing was kind of on the wall for Devers when Bregman came there initially. Obviously, Devers has a great bat. He's hitting 272 this year. He hit 272 last year. I think his best statistical year was in 2022. I think when he had 295 was his batting average. So statistically, he's a great DH for you, right? He is a defensive liability at third. That's why they brought in Bregman, was to shore up the defense and still keep some of that offense as well. That's why Bregman was brought in. Devers obviously had an issue with that. Put up a big stink to the point where, it was looking like maybe he might not even be on the team. And then ultimately concedes and takes over the DH. And then they want him to go to first, and play first. And so then he got irritated with that. And I think Boston realized that Devers was just going to be a big headache going forward. In that aspect, not wanting to do other things that the team needed. And so obviously they paid this guy $250 million. I think they wanted more out of him than just, his attitude, I suppose. And so, and so what they did was they traded him to the Giants for a bunch of pitching. So apparently Boston must have said to themselves, we need a lot of pitching because maybe our pitch is not where it needs to be. So you get a bunch of pitchers for an offensive guru, but a defensive liability. And that's the way that kind of worked out. The biggest thing for me, why I think Boston came out ahead in this, is that the Giants absorbed that contract, all $250 million of it.
Really?
So it takes it off of their off of their debt, off their balance sheets, and they get rid of the headache that didn't want to be team player, and they bring in a bunch of pitchers and one prospect. I mean, I thought it worked out very well for Boston, and hopefully that will clear their path for them in the future.
Jay, do you think Devers can help the Giants make the playoffs? I'm not saying win the division because you got the Dodgers there, which is going to be tough to upseed. I'm not saying they can't, but and you also got the Padres, who are a pretty good team too. Do you think that can help the Giants get over the hump, maybe get over the Padres, maybe get a playoff spot?
I do, because what they were asking for was offensive infusion into their lineup, which is why they went after Devers so aggressively. And when you look at him, I mean, he's batting 272. His best statistical year, like I said, was in 22 when he was at 295. But the last 2 years, the last 2 consecutive years, he's batting 272. So I think he is that offensive infusion. I think for me, what matters the most is how do they plan to put him into the lineup? Are they going to try to have him go to first and put Dominic Smith? Are they going to try to have him go to third? Because Mac Chapman is on the IL. So I guess, are they going to play him as a third baseman, and are they going to put him at DH? Well, it looks like they have him listed on their depth chart as the DH. So I don't know. are they going to put him at third or are they going to put him at DH? I'm curious to see. I think if they're smart, they'll put him at DH and just use the offensive prowess that he has and don't worry about the defensive liability that he would be at third. So do I think he can help him? Sure. How much? That remains to be seen because the San Francisco Giants are in an extremely hard division. And they are in second place. They're actually 2 games back of the Dodgers. So maybe this is something that they can help them get over the hump and get past the Dodgers, right?
Yep.
We'll see. There's a lot to be seen in that.
I guess the Red Sox were got mad because they wanted to put him at first base
And he wasn't.
when their first baseman got injured, and he didn't want to go to first base, and that's why they went ahead and got rid of him.
Not a team player.
Yep.
And at $250 million, you better be a team player.
Should be. I would
You know
think.
what I'm saying? Damn.
Jay, speaking of the Red Sox, what do you think about the Red Sox sweeping the Yankees this past weekend?
Hell yeah. I know Frank is going to hit me for saying that. I know Melvin Johnson's going to hit me for saying that, but hell yeah. Hell yeah. And the fact that Judges won for 12 during that sweep of Boston.
Red Sox beat up on them pretty good this weekend. Well, how the Astros do this weekend, Jay?
We won, actually. We're actually 4.5 games now in first. I believe we swept the Twins, and Joe, if I'm wrong on that, please correct me. But I believe we swept the Twins, and I'm looking up now to see what our schedule looks like, to see who our next opponent is. Just give me 1 second. Let me pull that up real quick. Teams real quick. Because I think Seattle's getting ready to go through a tough gauntlet of teams as well. So I'm thinking we can actually expand this lead over the next week or two. So we just swept the Twins. And the Twins? Yeah, we swept the Twins. We lost 1 to Chicago. So right now we're on a 5-game winning streak. We got to play the Oakland A's, the Angels, and then the Phillies. So I'm not going to overlook the Athletics because we all know that the Athletics are actually playing better than what the Athletics have played. I'm not going to overlook the Angels because the Angels have even played better than what we've actually played. I think as long as we win those 2 series, it's going to be important to win those 2 series because when we get up against the Philadelphia Phillies, followed by the Chicago Cubs, that's where the rubber's going to meet the road. In my mind, that's where the rubber's going to meet the road for how good this Astros team is or isn't. So we got a couple of moderate series, and then we got 2 exponentially tough series with 2 very highly talented teams. And that's going to give me the first indication before we go into the All-Star break if this team is a real deal or if we're just teetering on it.
Okay. The Reds had a good weekend this weekend. We played the Detroit Tigers and won the series. We didn't get a sweep. We got hammered the first game, but we come back and won the next 2. So we won 2 out of 3.
We hammered them the next.
Yeah, we did hammer them. We did win the series. So that was a good series win for us with Detroit because they've been one of the best teams in baseball so far. Reds have been playing pretty good as of late. We're 2 or 3 games over 500, still about 3rd or 4th place.
Won 9 of our last 11 games.
Yep.
We beat the Guardians in a series, beat the Tigers in a series, and swept the Diamondbacks in a series. Our last 3 series. So yeah,
Who we got next, Chris?
the Twins.
Twins. Okay. Hopefully they're not too pissed off after what the Astros did to them.
Won 9 of our last 11. So we've been playing some pretty good baseball.
You know, hitting the ball. So yeah, we're doing pretty well. Hopefully we can get through to the All-Star break and then make a run. We'll see how that goes. Anybody got anything else on baseball?
No, I don't think I wanted to say. I know Joe's talking. Hopefully we get Yordan back before we play the Phillies. I got to be honest with you. Getting Yordan back is one of my priorities that I would like to see have happen, Joe. But what I'm still more curious about is our pitching because right now we are doing about a 3.62-ish ERA right now, and we're basically using 2 minor leaguers and a bullpen guy as our as part of our rotation. So I don't know how long we can pull that type of rotation off before we get exposed a little bit on our pitching. So that's kind of a big thing right now, Joe. And I'm really hoping at some point that at the trade deadline gets closer, that the Astros will pull some moves and maybe bring in some arms to help solidify a little bit in that rotation. So I'm curious to see where that all pans out. Oh, by the way, Ohtani. Oh, forget Ohtani is actually making his debut from rehab tonight. They said, I believe it was 2 innings against the Padres. So, yeah. So then there's that.
Yeah, now let's talk a little bit of College World Series. Coastal Carolina won their first 2 games in the College World Series. They've ran their record up to 25 games in a row that they've won. I watched some of their game last night. They look pretty good. So they've made it to the next round, almost like the semifinal round. They'll be waiting between the winner of Oregon State and Louisville. So we'll see what happens there. Also, UCLA and LSU will be playing still part of the winner's bracket. I'm not sure if that's tonight or tomorrow night. I can't hardly see the bracket there. But Arkansas lost to LSU 4-1 in that big matchup of them 2 teams, 2 favorites. So Arkansas has let me see who they got.
They're playing Murphy right now.
Murray State, okay.
In the elimination game.
Okay, so I knew that.
And right now, Arkansas is up 1-0, bottom of the 4th.
Okay. So, going to be pretty interesting, though. I would say we're going to end up Arkansas and LSU. Well, we'll see if UCLA can pull up upset over LSU. But I think it's going to be Coastal Carolina either against LSU or Arkansas, probably when it comes to the finals. That's just my guess. But
Arkansas has got to handle that business though tonight. Arkansas don't handle that business right now. There might not be another game for them, so they're going to have to deal with this. And right now they are. Right now they're up 1-0, over Murphy in the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs. So hopefully they get it done. Otherwise, Arkansas. What would happen if Arkansas, the number 3 team, got busted out and Murphy then goes on?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be nuts.
It'd be Murray State.
It's Murray State.
Murphy State, whatever. I was close enough. Thank you, guys.
Close enough. What the hell?
It's a PA. It's an H versus an R, whatever. In some places, it might be.
Big difference between Murray and Murphy. I guarantee you, Murray State people from Murray State would think there's a big difference. I was just trying to help you out. I just want to make sure you do what you were talking about there.
I felt so bad about myself. I said, let me just take myself out of the stream.
I bet you the WNBA is real happy that
I was going to say you got I mentioned that
Caitlin Clark's back, because that game did like 21 million people watch that game the other day. Her game back, and she went crazy.
Yeah, WNBA got the ratings back.
The ratings back. She lost about 3 in a row from almost the rafters. She scored 9 points in 45 seconds.
Yeah, she was on fire.
I don't know if it was. Hey, I don't know if it was on ESPN or if it was Facebook. I just saw there was a clip where it was a ghost foul. Caitlin Clark. It looked like she kind of put her hand out a little bit, but then she turned the other way, and her arm didn't even touch the player, but the player just goes down and flops, and they call the foul on her, and Caitlin's like, "What are you talking about? I never even touched her." I don't know if y'all saw that play or not.
I've seen it. Also, the one real good player for the other team I think they was playing New York. They
gave Liberty their first loss.
Yeah, because they were undefeated. But one of them shots that she hit from way out, 35 feet or whatever, the girl that was defending her is up there, and she kind of pushes on her, and she's laughing. They were both laughing because she knew it was ridiculous. She said they hit like 3 of these 35-footers in a row, and the other team, that girl, she was laughing about it. So what the hell?
It's probably that Inescu.
It may have been, but it was pretty funny. But yeah,
I liked her press conference. She was very, very good sportsmanlike, the way she was saying, like, I'm glad that, Caitlin is back from this leg injury. I'm glad that she's good. I'm glad she's healthy and able to continue the career. I you don't see that very often. You see all the negative stuff, but you don't see players, talking good about other players very often. That's good to see.
She went off
that. It's the other way around.
Yeah, she had a hell of a game. I think they've got a shot of going a long way this year. I'm not going to say they're going to win it because that Liberty's a hell of a team.
If we stay healthy, I think they'll have a good. Fever's gonna have a good chance of making a deep playoff run.
Oh, I definitely think the Fever are going to make a deep playoff run. How deep, I'm not going to say, but I definitely think you're going to make a deep playoff run, especially if you continue to play like you've played against some of these tough teams.
Well, we done our job too. We won a couple games without Clark when she's gone 2 weeks, so we didn't fall off the face of the earth without her. We was able to win a couple games. I think we went like 500 without her, which was big because now you get her back, and it kept you right there in the standings. So
yeah. Well, guys, anybody got anything else before we get out of here?
No, I hit all the points I wanted to talk about today. Talk about Gonzo's fishing trip. Came in second place, couldn't even win. It's terrible. Could have won, should have won, didn't.
He was ahead.
Yeah. I was on fire Saturday morning catching them, and then we took a break and left and went and ate some Ponderosa. Got back to the lake, and I had a little bit of a cold streak for a little bit, but then Saturday night they picked back up for me. I was the only one catching it Saturday morning. At first, I was up to I'd caught 6. I think Brandon had caught like 2 or 3, and Steve. I don't think Stevie had caught one yet. Liam had caught one, and then we got Saturday early afternoon, evening. Everybody started catching them. Yeah, I got off to a good start Friday night and Saturday morning.
And when the last Ponderosa's left, huh?
Oh, dude, it was good.
Oh, and it looks like Joey Chestnut is going to go back to the hot dog competition.
Yeah, they settled their differences where they got mad at him last year, where he signed a deal with a different hot dog company or whatever, and they tried to take him out of it, but I guess they got it worked out. He's going to be in it again.
Nathan's.
Yeah. Joey, man.
He had signed some kind of endorsement deal with one of their competitors, and they got mad and wouldn't go let him be in it last year and all that.
Well, Nathan would have deal with him.
Did y'all happen to catch where Jamar Chase basically called Stewart, that rookie defensive end for the Bengals, who doesn't like his contract, so he didn't sign it and left camp? And Jamar Chase basically called him a bitch. No. Yeah, Jamar Chase had a few words. He had a few words for Stewart. So I'm kind of curious to see how that transpires.
I think Stewart's doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was a little crazy.
Why would I sign a different rookie contract than every other rookie? And that's what
I get it.
You know what I mean? And that's what the Bengals are asking. That's what the Bengals are asking them to do. Like they're wanting to put this thing in there where if something happens, it can default to instead of just defaulting that season's money, it could default the rest of his guaranteed money. I wouldn't sign that either unless every other rookie that came in this year has that same clause in their contract for all these other teams. I don't blame him for. To me, that's the Bengals being stupid and trying to sneak something in on them.
Yep.
No, I just think you could definitely see though.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
No, I'm saying, like, watch it. There is a huge cluster on Cincinnati's Bengals defense right now. If they got Henderson out there trying to get a contract, you got Stewart out there trying to get a contract, and neither one of them look like they're close to get a contract.
Right over to the Colts, we'll take them.
Most definitely.
But look how close we are to training camp, guys, and they still have these issues that they haven't even gotten worked out. You know,
and they're self-inflicted issues because
for sure
they've had 2 years to get this figured out with Hendrickson, And then with this rookie, if they wouldn't try to change a clause and add something to the contract, that would a rookie deal should be just sign it. I mean, it should be a done deal.
Should be.
I swear to God, if you're not a commercial for COPD, Chris, I don't know what is.
Get that Mountain Dew in there. That help.
You ever see those commercials that come on TV and the woman's missing like 3 toes and the other one's like hanging over her baby? Like, if you don't want this to be you, please give up smoking. You know, I just see Chris being a COPD commercial, man. Oh Lord Jesus. I'm sorry. I will lay off, Chris. Chris, that's all because I love you and I'm just concerned. Maybe we should stop smoking. I only need 1 lung. If you stop smoking now, I'll give you my 1 good lung for your 2 shitty lungs, and we'll keep you going for a few more years, man. Is that a deal?
All right, guys. Well, let's get out of here. Let's go Pacers.
They're saying ratings were down 50% when Caitlin Clark was out of the WNBA.
No doubt about it.
That's nuts. Well, that's the Caitlin Clark effect. Maybe she'll be on the Olympics next time. Maybe they won't leave her off the Olympics. Maybe that would be a good start. Team USA.
People were watching the WNBA before Caitlin Clark got there. Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
Well, they're not just watching because of her.
Oh no, but see, I don't know that because the comments were sold way back when. So I don't, No,
No,
I
you
live
know
like
how they're watching.
to the next closest team to me. I don't even know who the closest team is to me. Does Dallas still have or San Antonio? Do they still have women's basketball out there? I think maybe Dallas does.
All I know is the Fever was lucky to get 5,000 people at a game before Caitlin Clark. Now we sold the damn stadium out every home game. 18,000.
That's nuts.
All right. We appreciate everybody joining us.
Hopefully, Chris will be back tomorrow.
I should be. We'll be back tomorrow.
I do have one last thing. Before we get out of here, we are going to be hopefully signing Marlboro Lights to our sponsorship at some point. And hopefully we get the filter and not the non-filter, because I don't think Gonzo could take a non-filter at this point in time.
Are looking for a lung transplant.
But on that, hey, if you like the content before we head out, make sure you give us a subscribe on Gonzo Sports Room YouTube side and on ESEN YouTube side. Give us some support. Give us some subscribes. We love you guys. And
Go Pacers.
Go Pacers.